Good morning, class. This is me, Mr. Leonard, your English professor for your English course. As promised, I am posting a video for you all regarding some of the uh, writing issues, grammar issues that a number of you are having in the class. Now, before I go any further, there was a question asked, and I just want to address everybody. A lot of you received a message from me that said do not use I in your academic writing. Yes, the assignment asked you to write in a first person, which utilizes I. But if you go back and look at your guys' paper, look at how many times you actually used I. And when you use I more than once in a sentence, it's called being repetitive, and that's why you lost points. But in all your future writing, you should not use I, and I'll explain that today. So the first thing that I want to talk about is a number of you utilize the word it in your writing. So let's read this sentence together. So it says, Tim threw the ball into the bright blue sky. It fell down and hit me in the face. Now, a number of you start off your sentence with it after establishing a subject, verb, and object in the previous sentence. Now, you're saying to yourself, Mr. Leonard, we know what it refers to. And for some, it does make sense what it refers to. Normally, it refers to the object or subject of a sentence. But let's look at this sentence again. Tim threw the ball into the bright blue sky. It fell down and hit me in the face. Now, when you look at this sentence, does it really clearly establish what it is actually referring to? Now, in academic writing, this is why a number of writers avoid using the word it, because it does not hold enough information value to the reader to understand what it is referring to. This goes along with when I message some of you about being direct with your writer, being very clear with your writer, because as that is one of the major goals in writing is how to be direct and clear with your reader. When the reader has to stop and go back to the previous sentence to try to understand what it is referring to, then your writing's not clear and it's not direct, and it's why you lose some points. So in the future, try not to say the word it. Literally refer to the word that you want to use. So if you wanted to be direct with your reader, it would have said, Tim threw the ball into the bright blue sky. The ball fell down and hit me in the face. Be direct with your reader, guys. Don't use it. The next issue, a comma placement. Okay? Now, I wrote down 3 examples of the most or ways that you as a class misuse commas. So let's look at this. Look at the first sentence, right? So this is the first one. Alright, number 1. Okay? Yesterday my friends gave me presents. Woo! Really, really cool friends, huh? One rule about commas is whenever you establish time at the beginning of a sentence or establish time within a sentence, you must separate the time with the comma in the sentence. So here, when you say yesterday, you need a comma. My friends gave me presents. Now, what does this mean? A number of you in your papers, when you go back, look at when you establish time in your present. For example, I actually pulled this one from one of you. At this point, the group felt annoyed. At this point, though it's not specifically a time or date, but you're establishing a time frame in your sentence. So when you're saying at this point, you're saying at this given destination, at this given time, at this right here, at this point, you need a comma. Okay? So at this point, the group felt annoyed. Okay? Guys, the other rule with commas is when you're writing and you take a natural pause in a sentence. Now, I didn't give an example that I can see, right? Well, I did. And well, this isn't correct, but just look and listen. If you want to know the answer, you need to ask the right question. Did you hear that natural pause that I gave in that sentence? If you want to know the answer, you need to ask the right question. So there's a comma after answer. That's that natural pause. Now that's wrong, grammatically wrong, and I'll tell you why in a second. But I wanted you to see and hear that natural pause. You know, today, comma, I went to the store. Hear that natural pause. That natural pause, sorry. So, commas, natural pauses when you establish time within a sentence. And the last example that I want to give about commas, it's called the Oxford comma. Be nice to it, okay? Not many people are. They gave me a skateboard, a ball, and 2 baseball tickets. Now, for some of you, and let me just do this. For some of you, first of all, let me fix that so we all know, okay? All right? And 2 baseball tickets. Some of you put the comma after skateboard, but you don't put a comma after ball and 2 baseball tickets. Some of you were taught differently, but in academic writing, you need to put a comma behind ball. Why do you need to put a comma behind ball? Is the ball and 2 baseball tickets together? Let me give you an example. This morning, for breakfast, I had eggs, bacon, and sausage. So, naturally, I would put a comma after eggs, a comma after bacon, and then and sausage. Because is bacon and sausage one object? Or is it 2 separate objects? Whenever you have 3 or 2 or more different objects, you need to separate them with the comma. So here, they gave me a skateboard, comma, a ball, comma, and 2 baseball tickets. All right? Next, a number of you, y'all saw me almost fall? It was funny, right? All right, so a number of you use it is or to be in your writing. Now, again, going back to it is or it, we try not to use it because it does not have information or enough information value. But why do we not use it is or to be in academic writing? One thing that we try to do as writers is refrain from writing in a passive voice. Whenever you use it is or to be, you are setting the foundation for you to transition into a passive voice. Listen to how this sentence reads. It is really hot. There has to be some water. Do you hear the negativity in the tone of that sentence? That's why we don't use it is or to be. If you find yourself utilizing any of those 2 phrases, go back, look at the sentence, and figure out a way that you can revise the sentence not using it is or to be. Next, do not use contractions. Please do not use contractions in your writing. There can't be a wrong answer. First of all, this is improper grammar, and this is actually from somebody's paper, right? But can't. Do not use contractions. Contractions are words that are put together or that are mushed together, right? So do not becomes don't, cannot becomes can't, so on and so on. Write the words out. Do not use contractions. Okay? And finally, inversion. Inversion is one of the most commonly used among students. And this is what I mean. So when you're sitting here, hang on one second. Okay. So let's read this sentence. If you want to know the answer, you need to ask the question. So what is inversion? Inversion is when the subject, verb, and object are swapped. Now, in the English language, the way we speak and we write, we naturally speak subject, verb, object. The ball rolled into the road. So now you have the subject, the ball, rolled is the verb, and the road is the object. What inversion is the better way to understand it is that you put the object at the beginning of the sentence. So the road rolled the ball. Okay? So keep that in mind, right? The road rolled the ball. Doesn't really sound correct, right? Well, look at this. If you want to know the answer, you need to ask the right question. So here, ask is your verb. Answer is your object. And question is your subject. If you find yourself starting a sentence with the word if, it means you're probably writing a sentence inversion. This is an improper sentence, and you will get points off for that. So how do we fix this? Easy. You need to ask the right question, comma, to know the answer. Or you don't even need the comma. You can say you need to ask the right question to know the answer. Again, this is why writing is beautiful. You can rephrase, revise, keep throwing words around. But the most important part is to make sure that your subject, your verb, and your object are in the correct order. Again, if you find yourself starting off with the word if, you're more than likely about to write inversion or in inversion. Yeah. Alright? One last thing before I go. I gotta grab something. Oh no, I'll get in trouble if I use that. I'll use this. A number of you are also ending your sentences with a preposition. Prepositions. What are prepositions, right? So the word of, is, for, to, and so on. Okay? So these are prepositions. Alright? The reason why you don't want to end a sentence in a preposition is because you're not establishing a complete, clear object. Okay? So for example, a lot of us say this phrase, I could have. You could have what? I, subject, could have. What's your object? Okay? Again, if you go back and you see you're ending your sentences with prepositions, go back and say, okay, how can I complete this sentence? Alright? Guys, you guys are doing great. The content of your writing is really good. You guys are able to really give me details. Remember, in writing is all about being very clear and direct with your reader. Okay? The way you present your details helps with the flow of your writing. Okay? So make sure you're being clear, make sure you're being direct. And, you know, I know it sounds kind of arbitrary, but have fun with your writing. Okay? Now, quick note, in MindTap, I've been grading your essays. Be sure to go in there and look. If you have not started MindTap, you haven't started the assignments, you need to get on there. Okay? Because I will be taking points off if your assignments are late. Any questions, as you know, you can always email me. I'm always here for you guys. And I'll see you at the next video.